Hi there, my name is Corey Mentor. This is Darcel, and we are with Trinity Employment Specialists, and we are a staffing organization located right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. But we staff for travel nurses literally all over the nation. And what we are going to talk about today is a topic that I think a lot of travel nurses think about and talk about, especially for people who are new into travel nursing, really considering it, really interested in it, and really this is what this video cast really is about, is to help walk people through some of the things that might be alarming, concerning, scary, whatever it is that they are concerned with. And so what we want to do is hit these issues head on and then kind of walk you through that it's really not as bad if you kind of have a plan. So let's get started with 6 travel nursing problems that you might face and how you're going to avoid them, or how to avoid them. The first one, Darcel, I don't know if there's any avoiding it at the very beginning.
No, because we have to get them ready.
Yeah.
So you can't avoid any of the issues.
So what is it? We're talking about the paperwork that you have to get going, started. Now, it seems like there's a little bit more paperwork than a traditional.
It is a lot more paperwork.
Is a lot more.
Yes.
Why don't you explain everything that they need, and then once you get it in once, how much more are they gonna have to do?
Well, the thing is, different facilities require different paperwork. So we're going to start from the beginning. You would have to do your application with us, okay? Then you have to do what we call a skills checklist. And at the skills checklist, you just rate your experience from 1 to 4. You do that, you send that back. Once you send that back, then I get 3 references. Some hospitals require 2. 1 manager, 1 supervisor. Has to be a manager or supervisor, no friends. And that's due to the fact that most hospitals are JCO certified, so they will look over the paperwork. So we have to make sure we have that. Once we get the references, then I will build a profile, send it to the facility. The facility at that point recognize, okay, we want this candidate. Then they respond back to me saying, okay, we want to offer so-and-so the contract. Then we go into the second round of paperwork, okay? And this is where it's hospital specific. We have our guidelines here at Trinity, what we have to do to send a nurse, but then the hospital have a different guidelines of things that you have to have. You might need PALS, you might need the stroke certifications, you might need NRP, TNCC. So the certifications is very important. So again, at the beginning, I will ask you what certifications you have, and hopefully we could match them with the facility. Then after we do that, then I will send you out the testing. Okay, you get 2 chances to take a test. Just say, for instance, a med surg nurse. I send you out the first test, is what we call test A. Now, everyone has to pass the test by 80%. If you do not pass the first time, I will send you test B. If you pass at that time, that's good. But if you don't pass it, then you have to wait 6 months to retest.
Right,
so it's really important.
Well, and the hospital puts these requirements on us. We do the very best that we can, honestly, to just make it as painless as possible. But what would you say, in my mind, if I were advising a nurse, you know better than I do, but it seems like if you just kept in a file folder somewhere in your house every piece of documentation that comes with your nursing license, would that help? Like,
that would definitely help. But just because I know how nurses are, they go to so many different facilities, so they have all their paperwork, the basics, but again, it's going to be different from other hospitals. Say, for instance, Oklahoma nurses, easy. It's easy paperwork. But then when you go to other states, we don't know what they require. So they don't even have that. Right. They don't even have those handy. So that's something we have to do. Even the shot records are different. Most nurses should keep the basic shot records, but you'd be surprised that other hospitals require other things.
Well, one of the things that we do here at Trinity is we have someone just dedicated for helping you walk through your paperwork here, and we do every possible thing that we can to make it easy, as far as having online, an online share whenever it's possible, and the biggest thing I think is just keeping everything in a file folder, keeping it organized, and working with someone like Darcel to help you get going. The next thing is car troubles, because they're going to be probably driving there. Have you ever had this happen where they had car troubles?
I have. I have had a person who accepted a contract, signed the contract, and then the week before they left, they had car trouble.
Right. For someone who doesn't know, explain to people, all right, so if you sign a contract, when I sign a contract, I'm like, okay, I know I've got to complete this. That's a contract.
Absolutely.
So what happens in an instance like this where there's some car troubles, they have a contract going on? Like, explain to them what happens then?
Okay, say for instance, this specific nurse, she had car trouble. So we worked with her to try to help her fix the car. Now, if she cannot get her car fixed at that time, because a lot of times you got to call your mechanic, they have a certain date that could get you in. So what happened with her was we got an opportunity to move her contract out.
Okay.
But a lot of facilities do not like that, because they're geared on having you start because of orientation dates. So if we move you out that week, we moved her out, we have to take it 2 weeks, because orientation is only twice a month.
Right.
So that could prolong your making some money for your family at that time. So it's very important that even after you decide that you want to take a contract and you want to go outside the state, make sure you get your car looked at. That is what we recommend.
Well, and then take some time to just investigate the place that you're going to and find a reliable shop so that you know exactly where you would take this. Take the general things that go wrong with your car is going to be a battery, where jumper cables will take care of that. And so I would make sure that you had some of those things. You knew where it would, your car would need to go, and already do your research and kind of know the lay of the land. That way, if anything did happen, preparation alleviates some of your frustration in some situations. The next thing is travel nursing problems it's a poor cultural fit. This seems like a positive to me. Why would talk to me about this?
It can be a positive. I think it's more of a positive than a negative.
Yeah, because they're only there for 3 months and they get to leave.
Absolutely. And most of the time when you go, I have never really had a nurse that complained about the environment.
Really?
I've never. No, only thing that most nurses talk about is if they go into that contract talking about their pay with their coworkers who are core employees who are not making the money that you make.
Right.
So it's vital.
And then it frustrates
Absolutely.
the
And
core
then
staff.
they treat you like, well, you're going to do all the work. So it's always wise not to even discuss pay.
Right.
Period. They know you're a traveler. They already know, but do not even mention it. So I have never had a nurse that's didn't like the environment.
Well, but I have to jump in from a legal standpoint. You are able to talk about your pay. You are legally. However, and so we're not discouraging you from that stance. Darcel is only trying to come at it from a standpoint that you just keep a general sense in mind that you're likely going to be making more than almost everybody else on that floor. And if somebody is making a whole lot more money than you and they're bragging about it all the time, you'll be frustrated with that person eventually. You don't want to become that problem, or not that problem, but that person. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up because we've already hit our 10 minutes ish, and so we're going to make a part 2 of this video cast. If Trinity can help you in any way with your travel nursing, and just from an education standpoint, even if you don't go and do a contract with Trinity, we would love to be a source of information. Knowledge gives you power in almost any kind of situation. We'd like to give you as much knowledge as we can, and just be happy to do it. If you would like to speak with Darcel, please give us a call at 918-622-2588, or you can visit us online at trinityemployment.com.